Good weekend, everyone. I hope you're all having an amazing week so far. Upland had the Detroit Motor City launch, Master Builders voting continues with some amazing designs, and the NFLPA shops are here with tons more stuff going on. Welcome to This Week in Review on Upland, where we take a bit of time to discuss what's going on in the Upland metaverse from an analytical perspective. If this is your first time landing on the page, welcome to the crew, my friend. I hope to earn your like and subscription today. How healthy is the UPX economy? How is each market sector performing? What's the best deal and what's the worst? All of the important information that a lot of people overlook that can be the difference between success and failure. If you'd like to join me and all of the rest of us in the Upland metaverse, buying, collecting, flipping virtual real estate NFTs and everything else, head over to discover.upland.me/SSFTG. I love those links. Or click my promo link in the description. I'll have it down there for you as well. It gets you into Upland with 6,000 starting UPX to get going, and if you decide to invest some cash, you also get a massive 50% bonus on your first purchase with a cap of 50,000 UPX. Make sure to check out all the details and the perks and everything else at ssftg.com/upland. So with all the fun stuff out of the way, let's take a look at what's going on this past week in Upland. Obviously, the news announcements and everything else that we've had going on, there have been quite a few, but starting off, we had the first one with the Master Builders Phase 2 contest, and some of these designs are just, these are so cool. It makes me kind of jealous that I don't really know more about the 3D rendering side of things and how they're doing this, but all the voting results are in. It goes over all of the info there, and some of these are just really, really cool to play with. I would definitely recommend taking a look at some of these and getting your votes in on Phase 4, which we'll hit in just a minute. On March 23, we had the Detroit Motor City Tour announcement. I actually have this recorded, and that'll be coming out, I believe, on Tuesday or sometime this week, where I recorded my entire experience going through all of this. I've never done one of these before, so it's a totally new experience for me. It was actually a lot of fun, so make sure to tune in a little bit later this week to watch that one. Basically, they just had us go through the Motor City, and they had a really cool playlist, which, unfortunately, I couldn't play. I didn't want to deal with the copyright stuff on YouTube, but we went through all these different locations, and it had some really cool write-ups and everything. It was just a really cool experience, and if you're looking to get familiar with any city, really, I'm definitely going to be looking to do these tours in every location. Plus, you also get your registration costs back every time you land in one of the areas, and you get a reward of Spark, which, I mean, how can you not like that? On March 25th, we've got some really, really exciting stuff going on. I'm not really that big into the NFL side of things. That part, I'm going to be totally honest, doesn't really have that big of an impact for me personally. But the thing that's really exciting about this is the entire bolstering of the Metaventure economy, what they have written up here. This is the cool thing, because now the NFLPA Fan Shops introduce a secondary market for players and opportunities to buy and sell their legits. So up until now, there's not been a way to do this, right? We can collect them and we can swap them, but there wasn't really a way to sell and buy them. That's what this introduces. That's amazing. Like, I'm not a big fan of NFL or really anything like that, but other sport events and other things that come in that they've already kind of pushed their way into a little bit with, soccer or football, depending on what side of the world you're on. There are some other things that are definitely going to be coming into it, and it's not just necessarily limited to NFL. I mean, think on the grander scheme here. We've got things like concerts, more of a recent one because my son plays Fortnite and I play Fortnite with him a lot. One of the big ones in there was Marshmello. Imagine something like that with this, where you have they're not NFL PAs, but you've got legits that are based around music, or legits that are based around artists or art specifically, different things that you can display in your metaverse house. There's so many different potentials for this, and now you can buy and sell them. That's awesome. The other cool thing is they go over the venture dues models for those of you who are going to be interested when this goes live. Remember, this is in beta right now, so not everybody can apply for this yet. But this gives us a little bit of an idea as to what to expect from the venture dues and how much things are going to cost and all of that. And then, of course, the really important thing, the thing that gets me super excited here, the Block Explorer shop beta will come to a close. That's a bummer, but that means that they're going to be opening up the program for any willing player, and that is the exciting side of this. Big, big news there. Along with the NFLPA shops and fan shops and all of that, they're also doing a Metaventure Raid. And with this raid, when you send to all of these different addresses, there's a minimum of, well, you've got to have one, obviously, and a maximum of 5 entries. And those giveaways are going to be split up into 3 different drawings, one for each of the time windows below. So obviously Friday is behind us, but we do have the one for Saturday that's going to be going off through today and then also tomorrow for Sunday. So there's still some time to get into this. For each drawing, they're going to pick 20 entries, and you could win 10,000 UPIX. Really cool, just for checking out some of the different Metaventures. And here's the full directory and all the different locations that you can go and visit some of these. So I'll leave these on the screen for you, or you can jump over here and take a look, but that way you can get in on this one as well. Master Builders Phase 4 is here as well, and for this you can submit a Manhattan model, a Bronx model, a Brooklyn model, and a Staten Island model. Really excited to see how these turn out. These models have been so cool looking, especially that Chicago one, the brick and mortar. Oh man, that's so like typical Chicago. Oh, I'm so excited for these. Plus, having new buildings being introduced into the Upland Metaverse as a whole, when we're talking like racing and stuff, seeing all of these different kinds of buildings is going to be really cool. I hope they make it really easy to be able to modify current structures, or if these are going to be active structures that you have to rebuild, we might have to implement some of that spark rental to get these going, but these new models are awesome. And now over to the Upland market analytics side of things. The 30-day transactional volume last week was 3.564 billion. This week it's 3.472 billion. That's a change of 2.581% to the downside in terms of lower volume being traded. Unminted properties. Very interesting to look at the unminted properties, both the unlocked FSA and non-FSA collectively. Last week was at 594,146. This week we have 567,376. That means that it's down 4.505%. And one very notable thing here when we're looking at what's going on, looking at Detroit, which is the bottom of the list here, when we go through and we look at the unlocked minted non-FSA percent, 95.91% of the non-FSA properties have been minted in Detroit already. That means that effectively non-FSA, there's not really much there for us to do from that perspective. New players, phenomenal place. Still tons of properties unlocked FSA, right? 173,000 properties. Beautiful place to start for a new player. But for players who are leveled up above that ability to buy those FSA properties, I mean, we're going to start having to migrate back to probably Los Angeles or back to Nashville or even Kansas City, which is getting close, 83%. That one's almost minted out too. Guess where the next floor price increase is going to come when that mints out. And now we can get into the zone-by-zone analytics. This is the fun stuff, right? Looking at Bakersfield first. Bakersfield, the previous UPIX floor was 9,000. The current UPIX floor, 99.94. Not quite 99.99. That is up 11%. Very nice UPIX change there. The $6 floor last week went up to $6.75 for a 12.5% increase there. The lowest markup over in Bakersfield, 105.17%. If we're looking at the collection side of things, let me scoot this over so my face isn't in the way here. I gotta let me get the oh no, I can see my chair now. Oh no, the green screen's falling apart. Right about here, sure. If we're looking at the overall movements, obviously the one big one that stands out, downtown. Downtown is up 52%. Last week it was at 49,000. Now it's 74,500. Otherwise, not very much else going on there, but that is definitely a sizable mover. We also have the Pacheco Road increasing 14%. We've got some pretty interesting movement going on there, but relatively stable to up. Over on the Bronx side of things, we're also seeing a nice little increase here as well, and by little, I mean actually pretty hefty. Previous UPIX floor, 10,249 up to 11,699. That's an increase of 14.15%. We also have the previous USD floor going from $8 to $9.43, 17.88%. Lowest markup, 90.14%. So we are definitely seeing that also go to the upside here. Bronx on the collection side of things, we've seen a lot of back and forth. Some of the notable movers here are on the lower end rare collection side. Riverdale and Grand Concourse both up 23 and 16%. Pretty big increase there. Even on the lower side of things, we have a pretty hefty increase. The only one that really saw any kind of momentum down is the collection in Belmont, which is only down 10.3%. Everything else is seeing some pretty healthy UPIX gains and USD gains too. Brooklyn also not getting left behind here. The previous UPEX floor, 9,888. The current floor, 11,500. That's an increase of 16.3%. Previous USD floor, 750 up to 8. A little more marginal, but 6.67% rather is still nothing to be upset by. The lowest markup is 129%, so that is also increasing pretty healthily on the markup end. Looking at the collection side, one of them obviously that stands out, police stations. Police stations, this is one that effectively just went off sale. It was on sale at around 8 million UPEX. Now it's at 20 million. That is very expensive, up 154%. Usually when we see those kinds of increases, it's effectively like not for sale anymore. Outside of that, though, we do have a nice little decrease. Bushwick in Brooklyn down 15.38%. And it looks like a lot of that shifted over into the other standard and limited collection. Crown Heights up 10% and Fifth Avenue up 15%. And some other notable ones as well. We've got Manhattan Beach in Brooklyn and Broadway, 17% and 31% gains there too. Man, just really ripping over in the New York end. Oh, Chicago, and this one's kind of weird to me. I'm gonna be totally honest here. With the reworking of the treasure system and with basically Chicago being the only one offering some pretty interesting rewards, this one kind of blows me away. But, I mean, let's get into the numbers, regardless of what I think. Previous UPEX floor, 8,500. Current UPEX floor, 6,900. Not going to lie, I'm going to be picking up some of these after I'm done recording here. This is a decrease of 18.8%. That's bonkers. And it wasn't just one. I mean, it was a good handful of properties that are on that lower end. So definitely kind of interesting to see that pullback in a zone it's going to be interesting. Like I said, this just blows my mind. But previous floor on the USD side, $6 down to $5.26. That's also a decrease there, 12.33%. Lowest markup, 60.97%. Chicago, man, is going to be a fire sale right now, especially some of these collections. What? Westtown and Wicker Park, 21 and 15% down. That's crazy. It seems like some of that shifted over into Hyde Park. That's up 71%. Picked up a little bit there. We also have some other nice healthy increases. West Division in Chinatown, 44% and 24.44%. Little bit of a flip-flop here. Gold Coast into Southport, up 21 to down 26. And then, of course, we also have the Wright buildings from 3.2 million to almost 4.6, up 43.75%. Chicago, like I said, this one confuses me. I'm going to be buying some of these in Chicago while they're on sale because I think with everything going on in the treasure hunt rework and everything else, Chicago is going to be a very interesting location. And before I even finish the recording for Chicago, the lowest UPEX floor now is 8,490. So I obviously was not alone in looking to pick that one up. Those low ones are gone already. I didn't get a chance. Over in Cleveland, another one that's kind of interesting on the UPEX floor side of things. Previous UPEX floor, 9,999. Current floor, 8,000. That's down almost 20%. Big pullback there. The USD floor is actually up 8.5%, 599 to 650. Lowest markup, 84.89%. Looking at the collection side, Cleveland's just getting slammed hard. We've got negatives all the way across the board. Obviously, the regular collection is down 20%, but even things like the Old Brooklyn Standard Collection down 16%. We've got the limited Ohio City Collection down 15%. 12.5% and 11.11% in Professor Ave and Carnegie Ave, even 8% down in breweries. There's a big pullback going on the Cleveland end, and, well, I might have to pick up some here. I missed my opportunity in Chicago. Fresno's next up. We've got a nice little dip down here as well. This one is another crazy one. We've got some serious pullbacks, and it looks like a lot of the money is going into some of the other cities, to be fair. But looking at the previous UPEX floor, 13,089. The current floor, 9,750. That's down 25.51%. Another healthy pullback market. USD floor, 790 down to 699. That's down 11.52%. Lowest markup, 107.07. Pretty interesting to see that. Now, here's the thing. We can see that there were some pretty heavy pullbacks in the floor pricing. But when we look at the collection pricing, that's where things totally change. Blackstone Ave, that's up 26%. Lowell, that's up 20%. We also have Olive Ave up 50%. That's actually one of the properties that we're going to be doing a giveaway on. We're going to be doing the drawing on Monday in Olive Ave. Huge increase in the Olive Ave properties. We do also have some decreases. Downtown Murals down 41%. So on that big, heavy collection side, that's crazy how big of a pullback that is. Overall, though, I mean, it looks like the collection side in Fresno is getting just all of the cash flowed into. Detroit, next up, we've got our previous UPEX floor, $4,799, current floor, $4,600. That's down 4.15%. We've seen a couple of them dip down underneath that for basically UPEX grabs. We've seen it drift up into the 5100s. The weekend usually does drift up a little bit further because everybody's home. But looking at the USD floor, 325 to 320, not much of a difference there. Comparatively to last week, relatively stable after that big pullback on likely the hype train running into the station. Lowest markup, 64.57%. Still seems like Detroit's getting hit with a lot of the USD cash flow, but if we're looking at the collection side, it is looking very, very healthy. Last week's pullback seems to have gotten gobbled up a little bit, finding a bit more of a stable floor. Minor pullbacks, 4%, whatever, in the standard collections. Limited collections up 6%, 4%, 7%, some as high as 15% in Midtown. Even in the exclusive and limited collections, look at these healthy continuations. Brush Park, down 8%, sure, but the rest of them are looking really good. And even down in the rare collections, we've got some, like Chicago Boulevard up 36%. Bagley Street down 15%, Harbor Island up 15%. We've got some good back and forth going on here in the Detroit area and seeming like it's finding a healthier floor. Kansas City giving us a halfway decent amount of stability here. Had to throw on a sweater, I'm freezing. It started snowing here. Anyway, so we've got a 8,500 UPEX floor last week into the 9,000 UPEX floor. This week up 5.88%. The USD floor 6 to 6. No change there. Lowest markup 60.15%. And if we're looking at the collection side of things, we definitely have some halfway decent moves. We've got a little bit of back and forth going on between Shoal Creek and Blue Hills. Not much going on there. First notable one is in Charlotte Street, or Charlotte, however you want to say that. 17.24% on that side of an increase. And Main Street, and I keep doing that, sorry. Over in Main Street, we also have an increase of 28.57% on that collection. From the dive side, actually, before we get there, 40% increase on Grand Boulevard, too. Southwest Boulevard has a decrease of 23%, so there's some halfway decent ebb and flow. Los Angeles is another one that's shedding a bit on the UPEX floor side of things. Last week, UPEX floor 7,890. This week, 6,400. That's down 18.88%. USD floor 580 down to 5. That's down 13.79%. Lowest markup 50.89% over in Los Angeles. Looking at the collection side, I know there's a bajillion and a half collections here. But if we're looking at all of them, looking at some of the bigger movers, the rare side's going crazy. We've got Melrose, Mulholland, Hollywood, and Wilshire. 15%, 18%, 62% in Hollywood Boulevard, 23% in Wilshire. I mean, those things are going crazy. And then another one that obviously stands out, Sounds of LA, was basically on sale and now is not on sale, effectively going up to 20 million from 5.5 million. That's up 263%. There are some definite big moves going on the Los Angeles side of things for you deal hunters. Manhattan is up next, and we've got some decently interesting stuff going on here, something that I haven't seen for quite a while. But the previous UPEX floor, 130,000, current UPEX floor, 143,900. Really nice increase there, 10.69% on the lower end of Manhattan, just picking up nicely as Manhattan usually does. The one thing that's kind of weird, though, the previous USD floor, 99. First off, Manhattan under $100 is rare in and of itself. Seeing it at 89 is nuts. And we've seen a couple of them dive even under that before. So there's some really interesting dips going on in Manhattan as an overall scene. The USD floor down 10.10%. And looking at the collection side of things, collections, all of them are either flat or up. None of them are down this week. Some of them as high as 42% in the limited Upper East Side. We also have the exclusive Tribeca up 21%. Really, really big moves going on in Manhattan from the collections perspective. Nashville next up, showing us some halfway decent stability more than anything else. The previous UPEX floor, 8888 up to 9600. Beautiful lift, up 8.01%. Previous USD floor 595 up to 669. That's up 12.44%. Lowest markup being 61.46%. From a collections perspective, we've got some very stable moves. I mean, there are some dips, like 13% down in downtown, 15% down in Broadway's Rare Collection, but there are also some rips. Look at this bad boy. Nashville murals from 1.1 million to basically 2 million, up 77.7%. Heavy gains on the Nashville side of things, but otherwise pretty calm and stable. If we're looking for weekly winners as far as percentage gain, Nashville's Haunted Places collection takes the cake, going from 2.8 million to 100 million. 3,400% to the upside. Before we get into the crazy numbers, though, looking at the previous UPX floor, 10,400, current floor, 9,000. That's down 13.46%. Previous USD floor, $7.80, down to $6. That's down 23%, with the lowest markup being 54.11. We've got some pretty big pullback action going on over here, but looking at the collection side of things, aside from, the regular just being down 13%, we also have the standard lower ninth down 11%, and a Lakeshore Lake Vista down 34%. Big pullback there in Lakeshore Lake Vista. And of course, obviously, the one that wins the cake for the week, Haunted Places in New Orleans, was on sale basically at 2.8 million, now is completely off sale, 100 million UPX for that one on that side of things. New Orleans, relatively heavy on the pullback side of things, nice little dip, but man, if you're looking for Haunted Places, well, they just got a lot more expensive. Oakland is giving us a halfway decent stable market here as well, although the USD floor is pulling back. USD is down 11.54% from 875 to 774. UPX floor 10,700 up to 11,500. That's up 7.48%. Lowest markup 75.13%. If we're looking at the collections, there are some pretty heavy movers, like Oakland Libraries down 53%. We also have Gibbons Drive down 13%. Some gainers, though, we can't ignore Shafter and International Boulevard up 30% and 20.63% on that end. Pretty good back and forth movement here. Otherwise, relatively calm, stable, not really much else going on other than those collection pieces. Rutherford next up, the previous UPX floor 4,960, the current floor 4,999. That is up 0.8%. Again, Rutherford's always so stable. It hovers or it just kind of drifts up. The previous USD floor $37, the current floor, well, maybe not drift, surf up 42.22. That's up 14.11%. The lowest markup being 167.36%. Looking at the collection sides, the only one that actually moved was Park Ave. That's down 18.66%. Otherwise, everything else is unchanged. San Francisco's got the boat rocking. This thing is ripping. First of all, the UPX floor is still just super stable, 36,450 to 36,900. That's up 1.23%. Remember, just a couple weeks ago, San Francisco was in the low 20s. Now it's staying stable in the 36s, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. USD floor is taking a little bit of a pullback, 33.85 to 29.99. That's down 11.4%. Lowest markup, 239.03%. The collections are making waves. Holy cow. We've got an increase of 18% in Mission District. Equally, though, we have a 21% drop in Russian Hill, just to turn around into Nob Hill with a 12% increase. Oh, and a 55% increase in Lombard Street. But Market Street dipping 43%. Big pullback on that end. Established 2019, that's up 25%. I mean, this thing is rocking and rolling all over the place. Big moves. Santa Clara, you see the little blue dots there? Hey, we picked some up. Gotta love that. Santa Clara, we're even doing one of them as a giveaway. Go figure, right? Santa Clara has the previous UPX floor 23,500 up to 25,000. That's an increase of 6.38%. Previous USD floor $18.90 down to $18.49. That is a change down 2.17%, marginal at best. Lowest markup still under mint, 89.38%. There are some big ones up there, but they're still under mint. Looking at the collection side of things, West Central is up a ripping 32% on West Central, and we also have Southwest, which in and of itself is up another 36.99%. Really healthy over in the Santa Clara area, which isn't a surprise. This is where the stadium is being built, which I believe there's only a few more days left on. And then finally wrapping things up over in Staten Island, previous UPX floor 10,500, current floor 10,999. That is an increase of 4.75%. Previous USD floor 8, Current floor, 8. No change. 179.4 is the lowest markup in Staten Island. Looking at the collection side of things, some very nice increases. The first big one, Stapleton, is up 36.17%. We have Tompkinsville up 11.85%, and we also have an increase on Victory Boulevard at 12.34%, doing very, very good over here in the Staten Island side of things. On the collections especially, very healthy. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week in review and the Upland Metaverse. I hope you and yours are doing well this weekend and your stacks are as thick as ever. Have an amazing rest of your weekend getting ready for another fun week in the Metaverse. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, we'll see you then.